Meeks with us here. Fellas, the Martinsville Mustangs are right in the thick of things in the second half chase to get a Pettit Cup playoff berth. They had a rough first half, so they cannot fall back on the guaranteed spot they've already had, and probably not even the overall standings. But if they make a good push in the second half, they can make the playoffs. What needs to happen for them that they can control to make it into the playoffs?
They're going to have to hit the ball now. I mean, you can't depend on these new pitchers they're going to have coming in, because it's going to be an adjustment period for them. So they're just going to have to hit the ball. I mean, flat out.
Yeah, I think the Mustangs need to turn to some of their stars, as Ian Harvey, Jake Stone. They need a lot from those two guys, proven guys of the Martinsville Mustangs team. Because as Ryan mentioned, several of the pitchers has recently been injured, so it's going to be a learning curve.
How big of an issue has that been for this team, just trying to learn on the fly, especially dealing with injuries this late in the year?
I think it's going to be a big learning curve tonight when they go to Edenton, which seems to be a home run ballpark, especially for whatever pitcher they throw out there tonight. It's going to be a tough learning curve tonight. I mean, hopefully he does well, whoever they decide to start tonight, but I think it's going to be a tough learning curve against the team that has hit more home runs than any team in the Coastal Plain League.
Well, no, he's battle-tested, that being Jason Turner, the starter on the Monday night game tonight against Edenton. But what about going forward? I mean, this team really being able to put that run together. How do you do that? How do you keep battling in spite of the injuries?
Well, it's going to be tough, but they've been there before the season. As Drew Ozan has came in, he's got injured. You know, they've had several injuries and several new players added to the team. They just need to stick together, you know, not let anything distract you. They need to focus on, they need to realize that they have to go now. They can't sit around, you know, they can't put a losing streak on. They have to win now.
It's a must-win mentality. I mean, I tend to think at this point, given the way things have gone, the battle-tested part, or at least the scrappiness and playing hard, that's never been in doubt. It's been a lot of the ancillary things, but now is the time where you got to kick it into high gear.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, you got to win now. I mean, you're about halfway through the second half of the season now. You can't wait around anymore. You're pretty much going to have to win the western side of the Coastal Plain League here in the second half to make the playoffs, so you have to go now.
Well, I don't think you can look at it from we have to win every single game. If you do that, that's unrealistic. I would say the safest bet, obviously it sounds so cliche, but it's one game at a time, because if you look at trying to win every single game in this particular situation, we know the Mustangs try hard, but does it spill over into trying too hard versus winning each game at hand? You're focused on doing things, and then breaks can start to flow your way, and the confidence can rise.
Yeah, I think you raise a good point to not try too hard, as we've seen some of these guys on this team try too hard at times, and it forces them to make errors. So I think one game at a time is probably the best mentality.
And that's something that the defense needs to focus on, especially with these new pitchers. You can't have errors. You can't give away outs. With these new guys coming in, the defense needs to back them up at all times, because you don't necessarily know what you're going to get on the mound.
I agree with you there. I think you've got to step up your game if you're behind these new pitchers, helping them to get acclimated to what can be a very challenging stretch run in the Coastal Plain League in the second half. A big thanks to Ryan Stone, Brad Meeks. I'm Ed Lane. You can find him at Ryan VCU at BMeeks 82 on Twitter. Thank you very much. Edward H. Lane 2 on Twitter. We're also Ryan Stone, Brad Meeks, and Edward Lane on Facebook if you want to check us out there as well. ESPN Southside on Facebook and Twitter, and of course BTW21 on Facebook and Twitter. For all of our sponsors, for these two guys here, I'm Ed Lane. We say so long. We're off next Monday for ACC Football Media Days, and then we're back. And when we come back, it will be at the very end of July. And what do you know? Fall sports season will be right upon us. Thanks to all of our friends, people who have checked us out today. We'll see you in a couple weeks.